So I wanted to take the same approach to health to people who come and see me. So if I had a clinic that does address, disease, pathology that you already have, I also want to be able to route you towards, fitness facility that I also already have, where the nutritionist will help someone like me, like Sara helped me, but also people like who have epilepsy, where I would recommend a ketogenic diet, or for particular cases, not in general, guys. Please. So, but somebody who has that expertise to be able to.
The Boom Show is produced by the team at Burg CrossFit. So please don't sue us. All of the recordings and materials in this podcast are for educational purposes only and should not be considered as a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Let's just get smarter and sweat together. Cool? All right, let's go.
Boop, bop, bitty bop, bitty bop, bitty bop, bitty bop. Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of the Boom Show. By the way, that intro is coined from the good old Amy Tomlinson, just in case people didn't know that. But I am here with two people, head nutrition coach Sara Avron, and our guest today is Fermina. So welcome, you two.
Hi.
Welcome,
Hi.
welcome. So to start off, we just want to get more information about you, Fermina. Tell us your name, full name, where you're from, and what your occupation is.
So my name is Fermina Alia Pirmohamed, and recently Lawal. And it's a complicated question. Where am I from? I was born in England. I grew up in Canada. I did medical school in Dominica, which is in the West Indies. And then I came to do a lot of my medical training in the United States, fell in love with an American, had 2 American babies, and so here I am. That's where I'm from.
Wow.
Quite a few places there.
Yeah. And then what I do for a living is I'm a neurologist.
Cool. So you've been all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you travel all over the place? Was it just your parents traveling when you were younger? Was it your decision?
So again, it's a complicated story. My parents, we are Indian. However, my parents were born and raised in East Africa because it was a very poor area that they were in India that we are from, both of them. And then in East Africa, some people may know about the whole Idi Amin. He was a dictator and he wanted anybody who wasn't true African or Black to get out. And because most of us Indians owned the businesses, and then, those people were working for us, and that was a bad situation. And so they kicked us out. So in fact, one of my uncles had to get one of his friends, put him in a barrel on a ship to get him because they stole passports from inside churches or mosques and stuff like that.
How old were you when you had to leave?
So that wasn't me, that was my parents.
Okay.
And so they were sent to England where they did their schooling, and I was born there. And then again, their business was not really thriving, and Canada is a great country. And there was a lot of us East Africans who were in England were getting let into Canada. And so my parents came to Canada, which is where my brother was born and where I grew up.
Wow, cool. So you were super young in England.
Oh yeah, I was 15 months. I don't remember anything, but a lot of my family's there, so I've been back, but I don't remember those times.
And what part? You say what part of Canada? Did I miss that?
No, I didn't. So I grew up in Toronto.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Do you miss Toronto?
Very, very much.
Yeah.
My husband asks me all the time, where do you want to live? Where should we move? And 1 to 10, my option is Toronto. 100%.
Really?
All the time. Best place in the world. And I've traveled.
Wow.
The things you do for love.
Yeah. And then you ended up in Florida. I mean, where did you meet your husband?
So I met my husband, funny story, in Dominica. We went to medical school together. My plane was delayed, so I missed all of orientation. So I had like 0 friends, and I went to this new country. And all the people that he was standing with when I got off the bus from the airport, they told me later that he said, oh my God, that girl, I'm going to marry her. And for the first year that he tried to actually go on a date with me, I was like, We're not for each other. You're really sweet, but no.
He seemingly won that battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
The
won you
one
over
thing I
somehow.
credit him for in our entire marriage.
That's cool. That's really cool. And then you guys from there, after going to school together, you guys met and everything. Then you came to Florida. Is that what you said?
No, so then you come to the States and we did rotations everywhere. That's in medical school.
Right.
And then you apply for and get placed for residency, and we both did our residency in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
He still thought it was cold there. He has no idea. He's from Houston, Texas. And it's not cold there. But then we came to visit a friend of mine here during my maternity leave with my first daughter, and she was colicky, cried all day, and the first day of her entire life that she ever took a nap longer than 10 minutes was in Tampa, Florida. And then on our way back to Richmond, there was a huge billboard that said direct flights that are cheap to Toronto. And we looked at each other and he was like, let's start looking for jobs. Let's live here. It's a good middle ground.
Yeah.
And she sleeps. I was like, yeah,
Oh my
let's do
gosh.
it. And
Cool.
so that's how I ended up here.
Cool. Well, good story. So along that journey, how long have you been in Florida then?
Probably just over 3 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then during that time, what, I guess transitioning into kind of your fitness venture, what were you doing? I guess, were you doing other fitness ventures prior to joining Burg, or is this kind of like a start of that venture, or what was your past?
It's the beginning of the best, but so all my life I've been very fit, or my metabolism has kept up with my disgusting eating habits. And so it was very late in the game that I realized I needed to take control of my own health. And it was usually for something else. So for example, just before I had my first daughter, I said, you can't start a venture like this where you bring a person into the world unhealthy, regardless of how you look. I looked fine. I looked great, but it wasn't good for you. So I started with this boot camp facility for about a year, and then I got pregnant. And then after I got pregnant, I was really, really busy during fellowship, so I wasn't able to do anything. And that's when I gained a lot of weight and decided to try CrossFit. And at that time, I finished like a fundamentals course, and then we moved. So then I lost track again of how to stay in fitness. And so I came here and I scoured online to try and find a friendly place. I am in my head a lot. I just finished telling you, Tony, I'm very cerebral. I think about everything, and it took me a long time. And I tried a couple of gyms and they're too intimidating, too many elite athletes. And that is not to say that there aren't any elite athletes at Burg, but it was like when I first started at Burg, everyone was so encouraging. And I thought, okay, so I like this place, let's continue. And I only bought a 10-pack, and I was going to another gym too at the same time. But it's like I wasn't new anymore, and everyone was still really encouraging. And I became really good friends with like an elite athlete. That was my first friend, was Bennett. And we don't lift anywhere near the same amount of weight. He can crush me. But that was my friend at the gym, and I thought, well, that's the kind of community I love. And so that's how I started here.
Cool. How long's that been now?
I think it's been 3 years.
Cool.
I started from the beginning.
Very cool.
And it's been like another baby later, and I'm still here.
Right?
Yep.
So starting here, I don't even think we offer whatever you did sign up for anymore.
No.
We've shifted quite a bit, but you started out again when we were still kind of in our infancy stages, but during that time, I think we were transitioning with, all right, nutrition is pretty dang important. And I know that's been a big part of your journey so far, along with the fitness part, but, and that's, Sarah's here to kind of tell us a little bit more about how you guys met. And I guess fill us in, when did you kind of start the nutrition game? What was that?
It was after my second child. So after my first child, I like I said, I have very disgusting food habits and tastes. I like everything that's bad. Filled with mayo and butter, bring it on. Fry it. Do it. So like American fair food, I'd never seen that before, and I went crazy. Like, fry up an Oreo? That's weird, but awesome.
But I'll eat it.
So good. But so making substitutes, like not eating the Oreo and eating like, like an oatmeal cookie, like those kinds of substitutes was my first fitness or like nutrition journey. Realizing that I need to be active in that was successful. And I was fine, and I was able to lose the weight while being at Burg from my first child. But then after my second child, it wasn't working, and it was frustrating. And I talked to everybody, because at Burg, it really is a family. So I would tell people, they wondered why I had been on for so long, and like how I'm doing and how I'm feeling. And I was like, I feel like so much crap. And a coach at Burg, like, again, really listened to that and said, just meet up with Sara. And I was fighting that from the beginning. You did offer nutrition at the beginning, and I was like, I don't need that. You just make good substitutions, make good choices, and you should, do the math, in versus out, do it right.
Right.
And it just wasn't working for me. Like, even right now, you can hear it in my voice. It was so frustrating, and I still feel how frustrating it is. And so I was like, man, whatever I'm doing is not working. Even though I don't want to do this, why don't I just try? It is free, so let me try the first. And it was really the best transition I ever made, because before that, even my fitness journey was like hardcore beginner, and I stayed there. I couldn't move out of it, and I was okay with it, but sad about it. And I'm glad I did it.
Good. What can you say about her? What was that? So having Fermina, I think this is a very common story people talk to themselves about, or kind of dial in their heads, like, I don't need nutrition. It's not important to me. I don't need, like, why would I need to do that? I just, like you said, it's simple. But it's a different process. I'm sure you get a lot of clients like that. At least I hear a lot of people saying that. And then eventually it seems we keep digging a little bit, and a lot of those people will join in and try it out. And then from there, you work your magic, Sara. What happens?
Yeah, magic. No, she's very common in the coming into the office as far as the appointment goes, and thinking like, I should know how to lose weight. Like, things that I've done in the past, like, I've always known how to lose weight or gain weight or whatever their goals were, but now all of a sudden things aren't working, right? So it's like your old tricks just kind of stop working at some point, and then you get frustrated, and then tends to be where people then try and reach out for some external help. So I hear it a lot, and it's unfortunate that it takes that long for someone to realize that, maybe I need somebody else's help or opinion or guidance as far as my own health. So it's taking your ego out of the situation and just asking for help, right? So I can always promise somebody, once they start with me, they will not regret doing it, because there's going to be, yes, physical change, but a lot of awareness and a lot of change in just their mental relationship with food itself. And it's not that Fermina is perfect as far as her eating habits go, but man, she is way different than when we started, like, a year and a half ago. I mean, and that's the other end of things. A lot of people don't want to grasp that it's going to take a little time to get where they want to be. And for Fermina, it wasn't an overnight fix. It wasn't an instant gratification. We've been working together for a year and a half now to get where she wants to be. But she is now able to say that the work was worth it, because now it's transformed her mindset, her obviously her relationship with food, but now it's bleeding into other areas of her life, of relationship with her kids and her husband and her friends who are seeking her for help now. So the journey is always worth it, but it's just a matter of if somebody is willing to take the time to get there. But she has, obviously. Fermina has come a long ways, and it shows in every inch of her, just the way she talks now and her confidence level. And just so everybody knows, she just bought a few pair of shorts for the gym for the first time in how long?
I don't wear shorts.
She doesn't wear shorts.
Look at that.
She bought shorts to wear to the gym. I mean, that says a lot. So
actually, speaking of bleeding into, like, I felt like a hypocrite when I was in the room with my patients, telling them to change their lifestyle. And, like, stop asking me for a magic pill. That's not what health is about. And if you're coming to see me, it's too late for someone like Sara. And you need to change that. You need to change where you are, how you think about these chronic diseases that are really bad. And it is unlucky that you have to deal with them. But there is a way for you to have some control over that. And I can help you in the medication way, but a lot of people were not listening. And then I didn't have that step further to give them. And so telling them they need to invest in themselves and their own health sort of inspired me to say I need to do the same so I don't end up on the other end of that relationship of a doctor-patient relationship. And so that was a huge inspiration, I guess, or kick in the butt to start.
And transitioning from that, you've expressed that you along your journey, not only helping people as a doctor, leading people. We talk about trying to be providing people with the solutions prior to the issues, and vice versa from your perspective of like, I need to send these people this direction along with some medication so that they can not have a Band-Aid always slapped on them with what the issue actually is. So I know that's transitioned you to think about potentially, providing that kind of double course and going into having a space that offers that kind of long-term option of nutrition and fitness along with your specialty. So
a lot of things in neurology are like multifocal in terms of how you deal with a problem. Unfortunately, we can start with the worst, which is something like ALS. The pills we have is just reduce or increasing the course of a very horrible degenerative disease. And all the studies have shown that the best thing to improve people's quality end of life is to have everyone else involved, PT, OT, social work, all that kind of stuff, and then pulmonary, that's extra. So I wanted to take the same approach to health to people who come and see me. So if I had a clinic that does address, disease, pathology that you already have, I also want to be able to route you towards, fitness facility that I also already have, where the nutritionist will help someone like me, like Sara helped me, but also people like who have epilepsy, where I would recommend a ketogenic diet, or, for particular cases, not in general, guys. Please. But somebody who has that expertise to be able to target nutrition in the context of what their beginning health is. So you don't need me that much. There is no doctor who doesn't believe in prevention. And so I think the best way for prevention is to start early, to start now, to change your entire lifestyle. And that's what Burg has done for me. And actually I'm moving soon, and I don't want to go anywhere else. I hate the idea of finding anywhere else. So why I would like to look into maybe opening my own place so that I don't have to find anywhere else. I just start something of my own.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Very cool. So when are you moving and where are you moving?
Moving at the end of September to Houston, Texas, or just outside, a place called Cypress, Texas. It's where, like I said, the things you do for love. My husband's entire family is in Houston. And then also some of like my religious, I'm Ismaili Muslim, and they're opening a huge center there, and I'd like to be a little bit more involved in my religion or culture or whatever you want to call it. So it's opening in Houston, so it was kind of a good opportunity to make the transition.
There you go. Well, definitely gonna miss you. I'm sure that the journey and connection with Burg and us won't be completely separated.
I hope not.
But to kind of close things up, we always ask our two goofy questions, which is one or the other, and you can tell us what is your biggest pet peeve, or what is something that really no one knows about you?
So it's hard to say because I talk all the time, so it's usually everything about me comes out. But I think my biggest pet peeve would be like people who are like not authentic or just not reliable. Just be yourself with me, because I like to inspire. Or this one, maybe not a lot of people know about me. When I was very young or in college, my best friend or my uncle, he committed suicide. And then so the thought of hopelessness makes me really, really sad and upset. And I never want anyone to feel like that. I want you to be able to rely on me so that you would never get to that point. Mm-hmm. And I think that being able to have other people to rely on, just knowing who you are, I want people to know who I am. And so I want to see, you know, somebody's authentic self or real self when I interact. So, you know, I guess you could say like a more superficial pet peeve would be like small talk, because I don't know how to, and I never will, and I don't like it. Stop. Let's just talk about the real things.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you so much for being on the Boom Show. Anything else for you guys to add before we cut it off?
Thanks, Berg. You changed my life.
Thanks, Berg.
Thanks for listening, you guys. See ya.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode on The Boom Show, produced by the team at Burg CrossFit. Whether you're local to one of our locations or just love what we do, we would love to invite you to check out our in-house and digital offerings over on our website at www.burgcrossfit.com. If you feel stuck on a particular movement or have no idea what the heck a jerk is, definitely check us out on our movement library over on our YouTube channels, found at each one of our corresponding locations at Burg CrossFit, Burg CrossFit North, or Burg CrossFit Sunbury. And we'll see you next time.